What is it time for? Hello. Hi. It's your friend, Deborah Deras. Like my microphone. I'm getting in the Halloween spirit. I love Halloween. Can you guess my costume? Why do I love Halloween? Because it is the beginning of my birthday season. It's scary. It's spooky. You get candy. Who doesn't love it? Anyway, I'm here, your friend, Deborah Deras, with another episode of Realign Your Mindset for Success. Today, our topic is one that was by popular request by one of our listeners: how to deal with toxic positivity. Ooh la la. Is that a good topic or what? But before we get started, I want to acknowledge everyone that's tuning in. If you can please put in where you are streaming in from. We are live on Facebook. I need a blessing. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube, and I'm so excited to be with you. It has been an interesting year, as you can probably tell. I haven't been on every week as I would have liked, but you know what? I'm here when I can, and my intention is to be able to help you to optimize your energy, to maximize your potential, and to realign for success. And that's what we're going to do today with our amazing topic. Hello, Leroy. So glad you can make it. I think I'm allergic to the feather, because when I put the feather by my mouth, then I started sneezing. Okay, no more feather. Today, we're going to talk about this important topic of toxic positivity. But before we do, because we are on social media, I would appreciate so much if you could press the share button. Take a moment, press the share button. Why? Because wouldn't it be a wonderful world if everyone released toxic positivity, right? So we want to share this with our people because we have a saying here: sharing is caring, right, Stacy? Yummy. This is my cup. It says, God grant me the serenity. And you know I need it. I think I'm going to wear a Halloween costume up until November 2nd. Then I'll get to birthday. Yeah. Okay. So let's start out with talking about toxic positivity. What is toxic positivity? I had no idea the term even existed until I think a few years ago. I started hearing it, and I realized how impactful toxic positivity was, especially during the pandemic, right? We've just come out of 3 years of a lot of uncertainty, a lot of change, a lot of fear-based thinking, right? And toxic positivity basically is when someone expresses an emotion of fear or frustration or anxiety, anything other than happy, joyous, peaceful, that somebody would condemn them, right? And not maybe condemn isn't the word, but will redirect them back to the positive. And I'm sure that I've been guilty of this because I am kind of hardwired to see the world positively. And I really think it's not like biologically hardwired. I think it's environmentally hardwired because my mother is super positive, like reading every positive self-help book. Hi, Joan, if you're out there, Joan McLaughlin. She was always like, everything's going to work out, and everything does work out. But when you're in the moment of going through maybe a divorce, or there's a death in the family, or there is a sickness, or there is a diagnosis, and you express your feeling of upset, and someone says, oh, just be happy, or, this too shall pass, or, think of the bright side, or don't be so negative. What that does is that is what toxic positivity is. When someone's going through a challenge or going through a crisis, and when they express their feeling of upset, you right away try to redirect them, right? And I love this about my pandemic wifey, Nancy Marmolejo, because I would be upset during the pandemic, and I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm upset about this or worried about that, she'd be like, no, it's okay. It's natural, and she would acknowledge my feeling of upset. So that's really what we want to do, because it's not that we want to live in a society that's all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, seeing the glass, always half full with pink glasses. But we don't want to be a Debbie Downer either, right? Where we're always negative. What do we want to do? We want to be a neutral observer of life. Why? Because emotions aren't good or bad. As humans, it is natural. It is natural when we lose someone to feel sad. It is natural when something doesn't go our way to initially feel disappointed. But those of us that are in the world of the law of attraction, we're always focused on keep those vibrations high, keep those vibrations high. And keeping the vibrations high obviously means staying in the vortex of, alignment, which is usually gratitude, joy, peace, and happiness, which is true. Both are true. You can, want to be in the vortex and be in gratitude and happiness. And at the same time, when you're going through something that's upsetting, it is okay to cry. I recently did a vision board play shop. If you were there, I know Stacy was there, and it was very, beautiful and uplifting. And someone was there and they were going through, a really hard breakup, 25 years, right? And when they came up to me and I was talking to them, and then they said, oh, I'm so sorry for crying. And I was like, don't apologize. Feeling is healing, okay? Feeling is healing. So toxic positivity is when you have a negative feeling, you need to move on. No, what you need to do is acknowledge, let it come up and out. And we as people of the world, when our friends, when our family, when our colleagues, when our neighbors are going through something, our role and responsibility is, instead of ushering them over to what is the gratitude and what is the lesson, to at first acknowledge, oh, I hear that, this is so, or, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I know it must be super challenging. And I also know that you're a strong person. So let me know how I can support you. So whenever we ask the question, let me know how I can support you, then we're allowing them to dictate what they want. They may say, I just need someone to listen. Don't give me advice, right? Or they may say, I just need a hug, right? But I have to tell you something. And, I think the nature of social media is great because it can bring us together. And I've met so many new friends over the pandemic, probably like 2,000 new friends. I lost like 400 new friends, but then I got 2,000 new amazing friends. But social media can be problematic because what do we post on social media? Most of us post the good. I mean, the people that are my friends, we post the good. So then you think, oh God, everybody's constantly on vacation, at least on my Facebook. I'm like, why am I in my living room and everybody's on vacation, right? And there can seem to be a disconnect. But what we have to realize is social media is not reality. It's a percentage and a portion of reality. So when you're going through something challenging, it may be time to take yourself off social media. I have to tell you, when I realized about toxic positivity, I was doing it to myself. You could be toxically positive to your own self, right? Just like you can love your own self, you can be toxic to your own self. So I was going through a divorce, and this was back in 2008, 9, 10. It was a process. Anyway, I was going through a divorce. I was feeling sad. I was losing my house. I was losing my marriage. I was losing my Salvadorian family. I was losing, in my mind, a lot. Some of it was real, some of it was imagined, but still I felt very sad and very depressed and very, very lonely. And I just felt like I had to fake the funk. I felt like, because I'm a motivational speaker, because I'm a life coach, because I'm a spiritual counselor, I just needed to put on the happy face. You know what I mean? And it was toxic because Carl Jung He's a Deras. You guys may have heard of him. He says that we have the shadow side. And if we don't express the emotions, I don't even want to call them negative or positive because all emotions are neutral. Just some have a higher vibration than others. If you read the book Ask and It Is Given by Esther Jerry Hicks, The Law of Deliberate Creation, also, it talks about this emotional guidance scale, and they say to be in gratitude, love, and joy. And I teach that in my vision board play shops. However, when you're going through a death in the family, when you're going through a divorce, which is like a death, almost worse, I think sometimes, and there is pain. And we need, as humans, to be able to allow that pain to come up and out. Why? Because emotions are energy in motion. And if we don't express them and we suppress them, what happens? We get depressed. Or if we express them out in a untethered way, we can become angry and aggressive, right? And toxic to others, right? We can put that toxicity on others. You may know some people like that do that, right? So what we need to do is to find a nice balance. And how do we do that? Well, number one is we as individuals need to find ways to cope when we're feeling sad. When I was super sad in the divorce, I moved to the beach, which I'm still at the beach. So I did a lot of walking on the ocean that helped to ground me. I did a lot of meditation that helped to center me. I did breathing work that helped to calm me. I did, work with coaches and therapists that helped to guide me. I also listened to a lot of positive things on YouTube that helped to get me back to having hope, right? But what we don't need with toxic positivity is when something happens for people to deny our feeling or deny our emotion. Or if we say, I was in this it was a WhatsApp chat group, and somebody said, please pray for me. I'm just recovering from knee surgery and I just need prayers, right? And then somebody said, well, what is the limiting belief you have that you don't want to move forward? I don't know. They were like trying to psychoanalyze her knee pain, which, yes, according to Louise Hay, for every pain, for every ailment, there is some sort of mental capacity. But that's not the time when somebody's in pain from knee surgery. They don't want to psychoanalyze and why did this happen? What they want is positive prayers to be. So that's the other thing. When people express to you that they're dealing with something or that they're going through something, don't assume that they want the response or the treatment that you want. So everybody's different. So for you, you may want a friend to talk to, but the other person may want someone just to listen. And that's where it is your responsibility. If you're going through something tough, you need to tell people, let them know how they can support you. And this toxic positivity is really toxic. If you hear like stories of TED Talks on YouTube, I mean, people get borderline suicidal. Some people actually suicidal from toxic positivity because everyone says, oh, just get over it. Just look on the bright side. Just stay positive. And they're like, but I don't feel positive. I feel broken. I feel sad. I feel heartbroken. I feel worried. I feel concerned, right? And not everybody knows what they're feeling, right? I didn't for a long time. I really, you may know, I wrote this book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict. As an adrenaline addict, I diluted or diminished or muted or numbed my feelings for a long time with busyness and work and doing and drinking and just too much of everything, right? And so when we have that self-awareness, we can tell people, you know what? I don't need your feedback. Don't give me advice. My grandma used to say, I don't want to run your life, but this is what you should do. She actually had great advice. And now that she's on the other side, I ask her for advice all the time. But you may not want advice from your friends. So just tell them, can you just listen? Or you may just need a hug. You're like, you know what? I don't want to talk and I don't want you to listen. Can you just give me a hug? or can we just go for like a walk together, right? That could be good. Or, with the, you can ask people for, just check on me. Just call me and check on me once in a while, see if I'm okay, right? So it's really, really important that we understand that there's no such thing as good or bad emotions, that all emotions are natural because we're human beings. Yes, some emotions have higher vibration, but it is normal when we're going through grieving to feel sad, to feel frustrated, to feel angry, right? We want to make sure that we let go of the guilt or shame when we are feeling upset. Even if people are having toxic positivity around us, we can't control them. But guess what? We can control ourselves. I didn't know I was being toxically positive to myself. When I was going through and I went through prolonged grief, because if you don't allow yourself to grieve when the event is happening, it just gets stored. And for me, it got stored in my body as anxiety, and I started having panic attacks. Why? Because I didn't allow myself to grieve. Tragedy after tragedy, accident after accident. I just let them stack up. Then what did I have? Panic attacks, right? So it's really, really, you guys still with me? Okay, I just want to make sure. If you're still with me, say something in the comment. I'm getting on a tangent, right? But so the guilt and the shame that I had was like making me more depressed than the actual divorce. So it's so important that when you're going through something and you feel guilty or you feel sad or you feel angry, that you say, it's okay. It's okay. Like that woman that was crying at my workshop. It's okay when something ends to feel sad. It's okay when you're disappointed about a position. So now I'm starting to cry already. So now when I think about crying, over something, I'm not like, oh, you shouldn't cry. I'm like, feeling is healing. That's my mantra. Feeling is healing. Feel it, feel it, feeling. But then you also must acknowledge that sometimes emotions are not facts. You know what I mean? They're just giving us information. So just because we're feeling sad doesn't mean we're a sad person. Just because we're feeling temporarily angry doesn't mean we're an angry person. It is an energy and it's passing through us. Allow it, like clouds in the sky, to pass through us, right? Or like a feather. I don't want to do a fist. Let's do it like it just passes through, right? Like a bird flying by. Okay, sadness. Okay, anger. Okay, frustration. And if we allow it to come up and out, it passes through. But if we don't allow it and we judge it or we feel shame or guilt, we hold it in our body. And that creates discomfort and dis-ease. And if we create disease, what does that cause? Stress, which creates disease. Disease, disease. So we need to let that go, okay? And if you find that social media is a trigger for you, then get off or get on a social media. Like I have my algorithm. Pretty much Instagram is all Yorkshire Terriers and samba dancers, right? My Facebook is mostly like Prince people, my TikTok is mostly law of attraction, manifestation. My LinkedIn is all corporate, fascinating articles. Oh, and then my YouTube is like Court TV. Nothing bothers me on my social media because I created the algorithm. So I like things that I'm interested in on the different platforms, and that's what I see. But, we also maybe want to, and I was thinking this about me, how could I contribute? How could I be a better human being and not be contributing to toxic positivity? Because I notice that almost every post I have is positive, and that's because every day I do my best with my, meditation and my prayer and my journaling and my books and my breathing and my living, and walking the talk. I do so many inner practices that I do honestly feel good. It's not like fake positivity. I do feel positive, but I have to know that everyone is not feeling that way. And sometimes maybe to put a more authentic post, like, today I have a perimenopausal migraine. I'm not feeling good. I don't always have to put the sun is shining, the sky, the birds are singing. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I was thinking maybe I could put like a post that allows people to realize we're all human. I want to humanize having a range of emotions, good, not even good or bad, a range of emotions, joy, sadness. We don't know joy unless we know sadness. We don't know light unless we know dark. In fact, we appreciate the light so much more if we've ever been through a dark night of the soul. And at the same time, we know that this too will pass and that everything is always working out for us, like Stacy says. I love it when Stacy says that. She's on here. It makes me feel so comforted because I believe her. It's happened. Or she would say, everything's always working out for us. And it's true. Because especially when you're traveling and like, we're like, are we ever going to get a lift? Are we going to be stranded here? Like your little mind would go to the, fear place. But at the same time, both can be true. At the same time, it's okay once in a while to feel fear. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to feel anger, right? So this is just a message to everyone that's going through something to know that it's okay not to feel okay, that you don't have to feel okay all the time, and that it's really important that you tell people how they can support you. Because guess what? People don't know and they cannot guess. So it's really, really important for you to be empowered and speak up and just say, what would really support me is if you give me a hug. What would support me, like just call and check in. What would really support me if you could just listen. Don't give me any advice. What would really support me if you could just, send me a positive quote. I had a friend, she passed away. Her name was Dr. Cindy Brown. And anytime, she makes me cry, Dia de los Muertos is coming up. So I always think of her. We were friends for 25 years, psychologist and life coach. And she would always be coaching me, even now, in the other side. And she would, whenever I was going through anything, she would know the quote to text me. She would just send me the exact quote that I needed. And I'm like, how did she know I was feeling that feeling, right? So what I invite you to do today is to, be aware of what toxic positivity is, and also be aware on how you can serve and support people, especially yourself, because when you are supported, you support yourself. Guess what? You're going to be able to be that leader and inspire others, because you're going to be able to express your feelings, all the range of feelings. And you're going to be the motivation, the example, the mentor for so many other people, right? Living from a place free of toxic positivity, acknowledging all emotions as natural, as human, letting go of guilt, letting go of shame, making sure we ask people for what we want and need, and limiting that social media when it's too much for us. Okay? So I hope those tips were helpful for you to be able to deal with toxic positivity. If this was helpful for you, please say something in the comment. And also, I need topics, okay? So put the topic you want me to have for next time on Mindset for Success, on how to realign your mind for success. I'd love to hear. Let me know what your topic is. Thanks, Diana. Hi, Dr. Diana. Yeah, Diana is definitely not toxically positive. You are authentic to the core. You're awesome. I love it. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate all of you. Remember, my friends, with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao. Stay true. Stay authentic.